my God, they're both so dumb. Dude, he's like 50 at most. Calm down. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Umbrella Academy. We're now on to season 3, episode 4, which is called, it was like, is it 3 or 4? It's 4, which is called Kugelblitz. I hope I said that correctly. So the last episode had a lot going down, but the biggest revelation was at the end where it looks like someone from the past, well, more directly, Victor's past, is back. That being young Harland, who was our neurodivergent child that we were introduced to last season. This was Sissy's son. And we saw last season that Victor and Harland had this really cute connection. Like, she seemed to really get him in a way that even his mom kind of struggled with. And then, of course, most importantly, we saw that Victor actually saved his life last season after a horrible accident occurred. So we saw, like, I remember from that scene that it looked like something went down outside of her just bringing him back. It looks like either she activated potentially some latent type of power in him, or she somehow infused her powers into him. We're not sure yet, but either way, he's able to do some crazy stuff now. And we saw that he actually took out potentially 2 of the sparrows, that being, the guy with the face thing and the girl with the gross spit thing. I can't think of their names right now. And so the remaining ones ran off. Justin and Christopher and the sparrow girl, or the girl with the birds in her back, they all ran off. And clearly they probably are going to think that Harlan is with the Umbrella Academy. But either way, it's not looking good, because I don't think that they wanted things to escalate like this, but here we are. Outside of that, we saw that Klaus has figured out that their father is not the same in this timeline. Things have occurred with his children that have made him almost powerless, really, against them. And this is very different from the father that Klaus grew up with. So it's almost like Klaus is trying to bond with him as in this new kind of vulnerable state going forward. And now he also knows that there's that weird entity in the basement that's creating some problems here, but I don't think he really knows the full depth of what it is or what it's doing quite yet. But at least he has that piece of knowledge, which I'm hoping he'll bring back to the rest of the team. Lots of irons in the fire, as I said before. So let's jump into the episode. Just wanted to say a quick note before I do that, we're a reaction channel here. If you like this video, I appreciate it so much if you give it a thumbs up. It just helps the algorithm, helps the girl get seen. And if you really like what you're seeing here, we'd love for you to join the family by hitting that subscribe button. We're a lot of fun around here, and hopefully we'll get to see more of you. And same goes for those of you who've been here before. Welcome back. Thanks for coming. Same, like, subscribe, all that stuff. All right, that out of the way, guys. Let's get into the episode right about now. She changed her name. That's smart, considering what happened. Gotta love that back in the day they didn't have things like background checks. What? Oh, wow. Okay. I don't think he meant to do that, but yeah, I don't think that cake's set up. Yeah, we gotta leave town again. Oh, bless his mom. Really, black kid? Really? Are you gonna liquefy them all? Okay, didn't kill them this time. Oh no, this is Sissy. You're a G. Oh no, is she getting sick? Okay, Harlan, let's not kill everybody in here, please. Oh my God, please tell me she was the only woman in that room. Oh, he can't control it. So interesting. You know what? Those radiating waves seem a lot like what that thing in the basement is doing. You poor baby. Can we take the powers away though? Because, I mean, it looks like he's gotten somewhat better with controlling them, but maybe not.
You, upstairs, now!
He's scared. Diego, give him a second.
What did you do? Did Victor go full Carrie again?
We didn't do this.
Carrie!
It's okay.
Okay, can we not simp so loudly?
It's all right. Slow.
No, not the time. Not the time. Yeah, not the time.
Go help Luther. What about you? I can handle it. Okay. Go. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone can handle him, it's Victor. Sorry, I'm gonna get Victor right soon enough. I'm sorry, it's just the character is imprinted as Vanya. Maybe we should get helmets.
Trust me. She's gonna talk.
You don't have to rumor her. She has every right to be defensive right now. Although she did, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she knew whether or not they were planning on attacking, but I feel like she knew the sparrows were going to attack though. So maybe not. I don't know. Whatever. It's messy. This is so messy. Unnecessarily.
We're connected. I can feel you. People like you. Vibrations.
Interesting.
Like a tuning fork in my head.
Wow. His vocabulary is amazing.
There's no hope for me.
Probably.
I'm gonna make this right.
How?
Don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
Where is it?
She really doesn't know.
That's enough!
I didn't realize that Allison could intensify her power like that. She doesn't do it much.
Come on, let's go.
Luther's such a simp. Like, I don't blame him. Like, she really doesn't know anything, but it's like, dude, I think you should take the people you've known your whole life over the girl who's gonna have loyalties to her family. Gotta be, Luther just gets one little taste of the poom poom and he's out of his mind.
That you were.
Oh, can she rumor herself? I mean, there's a barber shop downstairs, but okay.
The sparrows don't have the briefcase. They never did.
What?
Like, you guys never had their brother?
We can talk later, okay?
No, not okay.
Later, please.
Yeah, big problem here. One that she made, remember?
You don't know how to lead. You
That's
don't
true.
have what it takes.
This Ben is a real dick, actually. Imploding so quickly. No matter what happens, it seems like Papa's just not good at raising these kids. They always end up falling apart.
They had some kind of secret weapon, this old guy with powers on their side, which is totally cheating. We didn't have a chance.
Okay, we're cheating? Are we 5?
What is your next genius idea, guy?
Wow, that was the best These guys are literally like toddlers.
What? Most of this wasn't even my fault. It was the man, the octogenarian.
I don't give a shit where he grew up, all right? You're gonna clean. No one...
Oh my god, they're both so dumb. Dude, he's like 50 at most. Calm down.
It doesn't alarm you at all, the fact that they're drugging their father?
Wish we would have thought of that. Anything else?
Yikes. But yes.
Do you recall this blinding orb of light?
Now we're done.
Why does no one listen to Klaus? I know he's a bit of a crazy kid, but he usually doesn't lie. He'll hide things, but he doesn't really lie.
You two have tons in
No,
common.
we don't.
Like what? Being a pain in my ass.
We should eat shit.
Heard that.
Rude. I actually think they'll get along because really almost everyone loves Klaus, to be honest. Even his siblings, kind of. He's a bit annoying, but he's so chill, like you can't stay mad at him.
This is the end.
Oh, damn. So is it going for them because they exist outside the timeline? But that doesn't explain the cows.
Instead of the universe expanding, it's now collapsing in on itself.
Like a prolapsing rectum.
It's a
Yeah.
weird analogy, but
I guess.
bunker
Ace up. Jinx. ABC 1, 2, 3. Personal padlock. You can't speak.
God, she doesn't stop. Oddly enough, I feel like she would have been a better pair with Luther.
Were you a part of it?
Of what?
Ambushing us with Superman's grandpa.
Sloan, my family can't decide whether or not
Dude, if I were Calamrini, I'd be so pissed. The dude's like 60 tops. Like, you're talking about like he's a foot in the grave. God.
Your stupid family's fine and half of mine is dead.
That's how the cookie crumbles. It's our show, you know? It's not called the Sparrow Academy. It's called the Umbrellas.
Using me? Getting close to gather information?
This bit, ma'am, what? She's gaslighting him right now. I can't believe it. You're the one who kidnapped him and brought him to your house. You specifically were sent to spy on him, and then you floated him to your bedroom, and now he's the one who's using you. Girl, you've got a nerve. Sloan could go.
this is for real.
I don't ship
We
this.
have to trust each other. Because we're not our families.
I'm sorry, I really don't like it overall, but I'm not mad at it, honestly. Luther has felt very alienated from his family for a long time, and they're old enough too that they should all want their own thing. I think all of them have had relationships except for him and Five. So, I'm sorry, I don't count Five in the mannequin. Are you drinking mouthwash? Stop it!
Whatever, it doesn't matter. Half the time I was just trying
Ew,
to
Klaus, you don't know what happened in that bed. Get up.
Diego or
The fact that this kid's just straight up stealing.
Maybe this whole new timeline thingy is a blessing in disguise. Except for you, obviously. But maybe now
Damn!
I can have,
Klaus! Jeez, this poor kid does not deserve all this.
Put it back.
Okay, you caught me.
The one time.
All of it, please. Yes,
I
yes.
thought you were supposed to be the fun uncle.
I know, me too.
He was paying attention.
All right, you can keep the panties.
Damn, all right. Klaus is on the ball. I keep forgetting he actually was trained, so he just acts like he doesn't notice. Also, that kid was terrible at stealing. He was so obvious.
We thought you'd be safer away from me. But I wish I'd stayed.
She does. He does.
I should have stayed.
No, you shouldn't have stayed because honestly, the whole world would have imploded. So, in a different time, you could have been there. Things happened the way they were supposed to because you wouldn't be able to be Victor now if you'd stayed. I'm glad he's got somebody who's actually enjoying his company. Poor baby.
All right, keep a watch out for me, Grasshopper.
He's like, yes, crime. I told you these two would get along.
How do we know we can trust Gravity Barbie?
I trust her.
I'm jealous now.
You trusted emails from a Nigerian prince.
Oh my God. He is that person who would fall for that scam.
It's just like a bunch of bureaucratic bullshit. There's no clear directives in here about crisis management.
Of course not, because it's never happened before. Everything's theoretical until it happens.
Apocalypse problems are the only things that get your heart pumping.
I don't know why people keep saying that. I don't actually like chaos.
He keeps scratching.
Disorder.
There must be another one of him here. There's another one of him here.
You could really work on like the way you speak. It's irritating.
It's brusque. He's very
Just
brusque.
saying-
But he also was alone for 30 years, so I'm going to give him a pass. Allison's going through it. Let her have it.
Leaving Ray, thinking she'd be waiting for me in the future, only to discover that she doesn't exist in the present.
It's a lot.
Do you want to talk about it?
Nope.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I think you should, because you're kind of lashing out and drinking and trying to ruin yourself, which is not good coping mechanisms.
No one calls you that.
They should, though. That shit sounds badass.
I actually love these two. Like, IRL, they have such good vibes, and you can tell on the set it's the same thing.
Living every day under constant threat that you or someone you loved would disappear or fall victim to some heinous crime.
Speak on it, and the fact that it hasn't changed.
I'm so angry, I don't know where to put any of it.
You remember that vigilante shit I used to do?
Yeah, bargain Batman.
It was literally yesterday. What do you mean? Like, Showtime, that was like 2 weeks ago, sir.
People in there hate people like us.
Blacks and Latinos unite! Kick some bigoted ass.
See if they start something. And then we
Oh,
need to
yep.
make sure we finish it.
Yep, that's looking for a problem, but do we want to do that? I'm going to talk about this after. Because on the one hand, I get where this is, the fact that people who believe like this typically do go out of their way to hurt people like us. Are we any better if we go looking for trouble with them? It's a deep discussion. I'll talk about it a bit afterwards, but it's a question. Ben, you're better than this. I want the old Ben to possess your body. Can that happen? Like forever?
We want the old man too.
What are you doing?
You wanted a plan. Here it
It's a
is.
stupid plan. He isn't a part of the deal.
He is now. Bring us the man who killed our siblings, and this will all be over.
Nope. Ben, you're making it really hard for me to root for you, boo. I mean, I still am, because it's not real Ben.
Jesus.
Dude, you're in there.
Flying like a dodgy shrimp on ice.
You're in there. Hello?
I guess you're essential personnel.
I can't believe he doesn't recognize his own symptoms. Thank you for that loincloth. Thank you. Is it possible that Five's the founder? In another timeline?
It's me.
Why are you... How do you... Did we kill him?
So this whole time you've been complaining about the commission, and you're the one who founded it. Class.
Feels like something you would do, though.
In this room, all permutations of yourself can exist.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Kugelblitz.
Name of the episode?
If you created all of this, then you must have created a solution.
The fact that he can't even laugh, I can't.
Oblivion.
Okay. Good to know.
Take it easy on him, Five.
Ella, this is between me and myself, so stay out of it. Thank you. Now, this Kugelblitz, it is not some tiny...
Not her feeling some kind of empathy towards Five.
Don't save the world.
Interesting. I was thinking that, you know, there is a theory around time travel that says certain things have to happen. And the fact that he keeps stopping the end of the world and it keeps happening says to me that's probably an event that has to happen. And maybe that's why this is happening, is because he didn't let half the world get destroyed. Why were there 3 chairs in there if he's the only one who was ever in there? Or was he? And how did he lose his arm? I don't want to know. Do I? Dude, you haven't been dead for 30 seconds. What are you doing? I guess it's your body. Kind of. Well, this room. This is like the Fantasyland Hotel back in my hometown. Like, they had theme rooms like this. Just like a kid, just touching everything.
This is so cool.
Can you put that down?
You gotta go see it, man, about a bump.
I knew that was gonna happen. Well, you kind of always wanted to live, die, I guess. I'm sorry, Klaus. Not the white carpet. Sorry, I don't mean it like that. Klaus! Why is that a... Oh, God. Harlan didn't kill them, did he? Oh, no, maybe he did. Oh, Harlan accidentally killed them. Harlan. But was it really Harlan or was it Victor again? So how did Ben's mom survive? Is it because she wasn't in the country? It must be, because she's the only one that was in... No, because that girl was in Russia. Why did Ben's mom survive? Dude, I'm confused.
You killed our mothers? You caused all of this?
He can't control it. It's not his fault, though. I thought maybe he did it on purpose, but now he couldn't have known. Oh my gosh, and that's the question, like I said, is that his fault or is it kind of Victor's? Because Victor put his weird power seeds into his chest and he didn't... Oh man, Harlan, oh gosh, what do we do? I honestly don't know what to make of this. This is... All right, guys. Well, that was episode 4. And now we actually have a name for what happened in the basement of the Umbrella Academy. Fitting because, of course, this is, I feel like it always comes back to these guys. And unsurprisingly, Five, apparently the founder of the commission. But interesting. So I'm wondering if Lila's mom knew that all along. Maybe. But obviously it's not our Five. It's Five from a different timeline. But this is interesting. This is very interesting. Look, when it gets into time travel and the metaverse and multiple worlds and consciousnesses and stuff like that, I'm not even going to try to pretend like I understand any of it. But my guess is that it's Five from another timeline who created the commission, probably knew that he was going to exist in this timeline, and of course made sure that the commission found him and brought him into the commission, you know, kind of like a backup plan for whatever might potentially occur. A lot of that is still very hazy to me. Very, very hazy. But like he said, apparently that version of 5 never figured out how to get rid of the Kugelblitz. He's like, basically, if we ever get to that point, we're gone. Oblivion happens. So that's what he thought. And the fact that he's on that machine says like he's very old. Like he's got to be like, you don't get put on essentially an iron lung in a hyperbaric chamber unless you're pretty old or very sick, one or the other. But to look at him, it looks like he's probably, you know, maybe over 100 or something. And he was barely hanging on. It looks like he was waiting because he knew that at some point that 5 or one of the 5s were going to find him again. Yeah, I mean, again, just because he wasn't able to think of a way to fix the Kugelblitz does not mean that this 5 couldn't, right? This 5's been very inventive when necessary. And obviously, if you look at the whole idea around timelines and all that, you know, that stuff, you know that different iterations of yourself won't exactly be the same, right? There could be one person or one iteration of yourself that's different. In fact, if you watch the latest Doctor Strange movie, you know what I mean when I say a different version of the, you know, could be different. But I'm not going to give anything away for those who haven't seen it yet. But anyway, interesting that we have that little piece of information now. And basically, yeah, we're going to have a race against the clock of how they can figure out how to turn this thing around. And I don't know, we still don't know the cause of it yet, outside of the fact that they're there in a timeline where they weren't supposed to exist. But I got to think it's more than that. I don't think it's just the fact that poor Harlan accidentally took their moms out before they could have them. And why just them, right? Like, why did the powers affect them in particular? And why didn't it affect Ben's mom? There's still a huge question mark for me. But anyway, I think it's a combination of that and also the fact that I feel like this apocalypse was supposed to happen, right? Because we heard old 5 say, don't save the world. Like he said, that's the best piece of advice I can give you. So, you know, as I said, I was trying to touch on in the episode, there's a lot of time travel theories out there that say that if something is supposed, there's certain things, I can't remember the name of it. It's like a something event, like an anchor event or so. I can't remember the name. I'd have to look it up. But basically it's saying that that event has to happen no matter what the timeline. So if you try to change it, if you try to avoid it, no matter what, some way, somehow it happens. And so we've seen the last 2 seasons that this apocalypse happens one way or another. The first time they jumped away, thought they avoided it. Second time, you know, again, another situation happened where Vanya once again blew up the world. Now we look in this timeline, Vanya, by saving Harlan in the last one, created this power in Harlan that took out their parents. So again, and then potentially they're not existing, then coming into this timeline is once again created the Kugelblitz, which is going to take out the world. You get my point? Like, it seems like no matter what, Earth is going to get hit bad. And it's starting to sound like this has to happen. And the fact that the Umbrella Academy keeps trying to thwart it might be what's creating a bigger and bigger and bigger problem. Now, of course, half the world being taken out by the moon falling into it is always a bad thing, right? Obviously, that's not great. But again, if that was supposed to happen, you know, maybe it's just supposed to happen. And I mean, obviously, we see that 5's got that hero complex, not to mention also he just loves his family. He doesn't want to see this happen. But what if he has to kind of let it happen? What if he's only meant to be what if he is meant to be the only one who survives, along with whoever else on the planet Earth survived the first time? It's a horrible thought, but if you want to get deeper with it, one could say that's an illusion for just life, right? The reality is that we're going to lose people we love in our life, whether we like it or not. And, you know, how many movies and stories have been around the idea of someone trying to thwart the inevitable situation of losing someone you love and how horribly it goes, right? Whether it's raising the dead and creating a zombie virus or, you know, we're playing with time and causing much worse events. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going that deep with the show. It might come out in the end that, you know, he just has to accept the fact that he doesn't get to keep his family, but we'll have to see. Who knows? 5 is, like I said, this is a brand new 5, brand new timeline. So maybe he will find a new loophole that won't be as terrible. But I feel like 5 is just going to have to accept that him being with his family is probably not going to be a thing. I think, like Lila kind of alluded to in the episode, he was built for this life as far as the problem solving and building the commission and doing this kind of thing. Like, I don't think he's made to just hang out with the family and just be there. So maybe it's more his destiny that he has to be away from his family and just know that they're safe and happy. But we'll have to see. On to Allison. Yeah, I'm glad that she finally like said out loud what she's been dealing with. Like, I've been seeing it. I think most of us have seen. She's clearly depressed. She's clearly going through a lot of trauma from what happened to her in the last season. Well, last 2 seasons really, but last season, and I'm glad that the show's not shying away from these deeper issues. Like last season, they showed what it was like, somewhat what it was like in Jim Crow era Dallas. And I mean, the sad reality is, even though we're 50 years later, the laws might still not be there to enforce that type of behavior, but the mentality is still here. Right. Sadly, she didn't talk about today, of course. We didn't get into it, today's world, but we already know that statement she said was so visceral about knowing that people could disappear, people could get hurt. Just knowing that there's all these people who are hurting you because of who you are and what you look like and not on anything else is terrifying. And that hasn't changed much today, unfortunately, for many Black and brown people in the United States. They still live with that fear from various, like, either groups or the police. Like, it's still not great. So the fact that she said going back and having such a visceral reminder of what it was like not that long ago, it was hard. It was traumatizing, re-traumatizing. And then on top of that, having to leave the man that she loved back in that timeline, knowing that, that he'd have to go through all of that. And then coming back here and finding out that the daughter she thought she was returning to is not going to be there. Like, it's just been hit after hit after hit emotionally for her. And like she said, like, I know everyone went through some stuff, but I don't think people realize what I went through. So I really applaud Allison for kind of talking about it. And I also love that Diego decided to kind of take her away and really check on her in a way that I think the others couldn't. And I think it's important because Diego is, he's a Latino man. So Latino people in the U.S. very much can relate to a lot of what Black people have been through. And I feel like it's important that he was the one who kind of took her aside, because as much as Luther and Victor and, Ben, and Klaus love her very much, they're not going to be able to relate to her on that same level, right? As much as they would want to, the most they can do is offer support to her. But it's good to have somebody who understands you on that level be able to have that conversation. So I'm glad that we saw Diego take the initiative on that and have that conversation, because while he may not be the most head smart, he definitely is very emotionally intelligent. So I'm glad that they had that moment. Now, about the biker bar. I kind of touched on it in the episode about how there's a conundrum with a situation like that, right? We saw that, the 5 stages of grief, right? Allison is in her anger stage of her grief, understandably so, as I said before. But she's like, I need some place to channel it. I need somewhere to put this anger. Now, there are healthy ways to get you to deal with those types of emotions. Like, I would say something like exercise is one way of doing it. Some people, they engage in things like martial arts in order to be able to do that, although I'm not so sure channeling anger through things that can potentially hurt people is a good idea. But there are other ways to deal with it that are more constructive. I understand that she needed a way to dissipate it as well, because as we saw, she was lashing out at her brothers and sisters, and she was going a little overboard with her powers, even trying to rumor herself out of her grief, which, one could say that's a metaphor for drinking, drugs, sex, whatever people do to kind of avoid feeling the emotions they're trying not to feel. But we had Diego saying, part of his vigilante thing was, to deal with all the anger he felt over the way they were raised, the pain that he went through as an Umbrella Academy person. And, like I said, she called him Batman in there. And that was such a great comparison, because that's exactly what Batman did, right? He used his ability to go around in the night beating up bad guys as a way to deal with, all the anger and grief he was still dealing with the death of his parents, etc. But that's not healthy. And, if you read the Batman comics or watch Batman movies, which is more what I do, I don't read the comics, but that Batman has come to the brink of doing some pretty terrible things repeatedly because he uses that as his outlet rather than dealing with the grief itself. And that's kind of where Allison's at. Like, I understand that, like, this show hasn't really talked about things like therapy or, things like that. I don't think we're going to get into it because of the nature of it, but that's really what she should be doing. Like, if this was the real world, Allison should be seeking out help, therapy, somewhere so she can talk about this honestly, openly, non-judgmentally, and deal with her emotions and actually go through them and process them rather than trying to drink them away as we see her doing, or throw herself into violent activity, which again is a distraction. Inevitably, she'll come back to those emotions and it's going to be a rinse repeat cycle. But them going to this bar where they know that there's bigots, big Confederate flag there. Basically, we already know that 9 times out of 10, people who fly that flag proudly are not going to be very welcoming to people who look like her or Diego. Like, I understand people are going to come with the argument of, hey, people like that come and they bother Black people and brown people all the time. They go out of their way to hurt us, to ostracize us, to abuse us. Why shouldn't we turn the tables and do the same, especially if you've got superpowers? I get it. Believe me, it's not to say I'm not going to enjoy watching some of these boys get messed up. The problem is it really a solution, and is it really like any better? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, are you any better for going to them? Because I mean, for all intents and purposes, these bigots were in their bigot bar doing their bigot thing in their area. Now you go to their bar and you are going with the mindset of looking for trouble, right? Like, and again, I'm not saying it's ever warranted. I just want to make sure I'm clear because I know this is a very touchy topic and it might get people upset, but I'm not saying that it's not, that it's not, or that it's okay or that it's ever warranted what people who have these belief systems do to people who look like us. I'm just saying there's a big difference between defending yourself and standing up for yourself and looking for a fight. Those things are not one and the same. And that's all I'm saying, is that I don't know that this is the best thing for them to do. And especially right now, like so much is going on right now. They already have the Sparrow Academy looking for a reason to try to kill one of them. Why do you want to go and get a whole other group on your ass too? Right? Like, truthfully, I mean, no one's probably going to be able to do anything because they are superpowered, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense right now. But yeah, I guess they just want to throw in a fight scene, I guess. I don't know. And I'm not surprised that Allison took up on it. She's very much kind of going outside of her bubble of normal behavior right now because, again, it's a distraction. But I do hope that whatever happens in this situation, in this season, that Allison at least gets her daughter back. Like, I feel like, I don't know, from the way they've been playing it since season 1, I feel like they're kind of letting us know that's not going to happen. But I do hope at the very least she gets that. But again, if the whole world's supposed to blow up, maybe it's just not going to happen either way. I'm not going to touch too much on the whole Luther and what's her name? I forgot her name already. I'm not, like I said, I'm not for it and I'm not against it. Like, I'm glad Luther's finally finding some love because obviously his love connections have not been, he's one of the few Umbrella Academy people outside of course, Five, who has, you know, been abandoned, you know, went through what he went through. He hasn't had a love interest. He hasn't had like a real love, right? Compared to like Allison's had one, Victor's now had one. Well, actually Victor's had a few because I think that, you know, even as Vanya, there was some dating that happened there. We know that even Diego's ass has had a few relationships. So he was on the moon. I get it. Luther deserves some love. This situation is just messy overall. I do get that they're very much showing that these two are kind of the anomalies in their family and that they really don't want this life. They were kind of just put into it. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm not really moved by it. I'm just saying it's my point. But I get where they're coming from. And I'm like, I'm not against it. I'm not rooting for it, but I'm not rooting against it either. I'm just like, meh, it just doesn't really affect me very much. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure they will end up together though in some way, shape or form though, because they seem to be like in love after one night. So apparently they are made for each other. Again, not going to talk much about Ben and Faye and that they're fighting, their constant bickering. Ben is like, what I'm noticing about this this Sparrow Academy is that much like the Umbrella Academy, they don't know how to get along and they fight way too easily. However, I think the biggest difference is that the Umbrella Academy overall was much more mature. Like they got a little bit infantile with each other, but the Sparrow Academy is very juvenile. Like they act like I said, they act like 12, 13-year-olds stuck in adult bodies with superpowers. I think the only one who wasn't acting like that was possibly Marcus, and of course he's gone. So it's like, now that he's not there, there isn't that order, there isn't that sense of maturity, and they're just like devolving into these teenage type spats between each other. And of course, because they've got their father all drugged up, he can't even be a voice of reason. Although he never really was a voice of reason, he probably just would have crapped on them emotionally and walked away. So it's messy with them, and I'm not sure what he was going to suggest to Ben as far as leveling the playing. Oh, maybe he's the one who suggested actually getting the old man. Oh, that's right, because he would want to study him. Never mind. I completely understand why their father did that. He just wants his hands on Harlan because he wants to understand how Harlan happened. But anyway, not much to say about that. Ben's just disappointing. Let's be real. This Ben is so disappointing. But as I said in the episode, it's Ben. I love him. And I got to hope that some way, shape or form, we can get our Ben back or he could change. I don't know. I'm going to hold on to that very, very slim hope at the moment. Going on to Harlan. Actually, wait, we'll leave Harlan for last. Let's talk about very briefly what happened with Klaus. I love the Klaus bonding with, why am I forgetting the little boy's name already? But I like that because the poor little boys had no one's really been taking any time with him. Like his mom dropped him, ran away. And then of course we see that Diego's doing everything he can to like not bond with this kid, even though he kind of already is. And then it's like, he's just, the poor kid's just existing, trying to like just live. And he's like, dude, I didn't choose to be here, man. I'm just trying to get by and be seen. And so I knew that him and Klaus would get along because it's Klaus, like I said, who doesn't get along with Klaus? He's a sweetheart. So I'm glad that he got somebody who is kind of taking time with him and trying to see him where he's at. And I love that scene where it looked like Klaus wasn't paying attention and he's like, kid, I clocked everything, put it all back. That was great. I'm like, this is why Klaus is like one of my favorite characters in this show by far. But also Klaus just talking about the fact that, his behavior might have a real reason for it outside of the trauma his father had. Basically kind of seeing that, he's kind of looking for that validation for his dad. And then we saw at the end there, he got shot, which I knew was going to happen as soon as that kid picked up the harpoon gun. I'm like, he's going to shoot Klaus, isn't he? I don't think Klaus is going to die, clearly. I don't think the show is going to do that, especially on episode 4. Not sure we're going to get Klaus back yet. But who knows? Maybe this is going to discover a new plot. Maybe there's another power that Klaus has that we haven't seen before. We know that he's OD'd before, but I don't like being actually directly shot point blank is something new. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. And then of course, as I said there at the end, we found out more about Harlan, what happened. It was very sad, the montage in the beginning showing that he's been struggling with these new powers. Like he can't really control, looks like the force of them. Like outside of the telekinesis, which they just showed him as a kid. They haven't shown him using the telekinesis since. But when he was like, you know, bouncing that toy, he seemed to be very much in control of that. But whatever the thing is that comes from in here, he seems to only have like one volume and that's all the way up. And that's what happened. Like we saw him exploding the poor bunny for his birthday and then, you know, blasting those kids a foot or two. It looks like there's two different energies going on with him though, which is very interesting to me. There's the blue energy, which seems to be a little less destructive. Like that's the one seems like more of a telekinetic push. But that red stuff, that red wave seems to be the thing that's very destructive. That seems to be the thing that actually destroys things. And like I said in the episode, the look of the sparks that emanate from that red energy seem to be the same as what we saw of the Kugelblitz. So I feel like those two are linked. I don't think that I think there's a reason why they look the same. And I think it's because somehow some of that energy is in him. And that would make sense because like I said, I feel like Vanya is always the catalyst to the end of the world. And I think unfortunately somehow she spliced that energy from herself into him. And now it's somehow, yeah, I don't know. I'm still formulating it, but I feel like it's because of Vanya or sort of Victor. And that's why that's happening. So, but very interesting that we found out that same day that his mom died and he had that first huge burst of energy. That's when all the moms died. The Umbrella Academy moms died with the exception of Ben's mom. And we also see that he was able to see them. Like he sensed that they all died. So again, it's like it was on purpose, but not really because he would have never met these people, right? So many questions about why that happened. Hopefully Victor's not going to, hold it against him. I think I'm hoping she's figured out that Harlan cannot control any of this. But yeah, it's interesting to find out that he was the source of that. And again, I still have my questions as to why somehow we didn't have that happen to Ben's mom. Like, why was she the exception? Very interesting plot points that are coming to pass here. So great episode. I feel like we got a lot in this episode, even though it's the same length as any other one, but lots of things that have been uncovered, a lot more plot points, a lot more issues that make me wonder how we're going to wrap this all up by the end of the season. So I'm very much interested in watching it. This was a great episode. I hope you enjoyed watching it with me. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and we will see you in the next episode.